Hello, everyone. Welcome to our monthly Barbourville Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our chair, Dr. Edwin Smith.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Motion made by Daniel, second by Lundy. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All voting aye. Do we have Jason on here? I haven't seen.
I'm sorry, I should have given you his apologies. He is not able to make it. His meeting was running over, so he's not able to make it. And
Okay.
then Benita Williams will not be able to be with us tonight.
Yeah, let's just please keep Benita in our prayers. She's at a loss today.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dixon. So, do we have a motion to approve the actions by consent?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lundy, second by Daniels. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, approved certified evaluation plan.
Ms. Chafin, would you like to address that, please?
The 50-50 committee met on September the 15th. We did a Zoom meeting and we reviewed the certified evaluation plan from last year. The state did not require any kind of changes to the evaluation plan for teachers. However, they did require an update for principals, and that would be taken from the professional standards for educational leaders. And it has 10 standards that the principals have to meet. So we made the change to that part of the certified evaluation plan. The committee voted to keep the existing plan for this year. And the members present were myself, Mr. Milton, Ms. Sprinkles, Ms. Hillard, Ms. Angie Smith, Mr. Simpson, and Mr. Bowe.
The evaluation plan meets all of the requirements, the state requirements, and as she said, we are required to have a 50-50 committee with 50% administrators and 50% staff to determine the pace and that plan in detail. So they have approved that plan. Again, the only change made was basically the principals part to meet the new standards of the principals.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the plan?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Lundy, second by Daniels. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All voting aye. Okay, take action on the mode of instruction 2020-2021. Ms. Dixon.
Okay, I'm going to start by trying to pull up a couple things for us to share and to look at. Are you able to see that map this point in time?
Yes.
Okay, the decisions for school districts based on where you are on Thursdays is kind of what we're looking at when we're looking at our mode of instruction based on the number of current incident rate within our district. As many of you know, last Thursday we were in the orange. On Friday, we went red. So the district decision on Friday on Thursday, if we had been in red, would have given our families time to prepare. However, since we were orange, we did not have to take any action at that time. I will tell you that I was notified on Friday that our incident rates had increased and we're moving upward in the direction that we did not want them to go in. However, last Friday, at a 25 incident rate, we're in the red, and last Friday we were at 28. With that being said, I did talk with the health department about the number of cases, and there was a large cluster in one of our facilities. But in addition to that, there were still enough individual cases outside of that was raising that at the time. By Sunday, we had moved up to almost 49. I think it was 49 on Sunday. So there was a drastic jump in where we were from Thursday to Sunday. So here we are again with Thursday, which we are to use as the gauge for what we do for the upcoming week. And we're at 51.8 in Knox County. Our incident rates actually are at this point in time, based on our population, we are the second, we have the second highest incident rate in the state of Kentucky. So with that being said, as you all know, we think kids need to be in a seat. It's extremely important to us to have our kids in a seat and to do the things that we need to do. And we think that in classroom is the most important. However, at this point in time, we have talked with public health, who has stated that they highly suggest that we follow the recommendation, and it's not a mandate. It is a recommendation that when you are in the red, that you do remote learning only. So there's quite a bit of difference in where we are now and where we were last week. Where we were last week was barely on the edge, and we had a large cluster. This week, we're looking at numbers that exclude that cluster, and I want to share those numbers with you. Rebecca Raines, our director at Public Health, our Knox County Health Department, sent us a information sheet today so we could be more well informed about the number of cases. And again, she's excluded that the cases that are in that facility or that cluster that we have here in Knox County. And last week, as I said, we were right on the bubble. We moved after Thursday. We started moving on Friday. And so to get into the red zone, we would have to be at 8.6 cases per day. And last week, when we started going up, we were only at 8.28. So we were very close to that red bubble, and we did know that we had that initial cluster. This week, we're well into the red zone with 11.14 cases per day. So we have actually increased a total of 20 cases from 58 total cases at this time last week. Well, at that average range of 7 days. She did a Wednesday to Wednesday for us. So over the last 4 weeks, we've gone from 46 to 78. So we've had a very drastic change in where we were last week and where we were 3 weeks ago to that. And again, her note says that she knows that many people have discuss the increase in cases due to the current outbreak in one of our particular settings, and that definitely has affected our high incident rate. However, we would still be a red county without that current outbreak. So the numbers are extremely high. The recommendation from KDE, and as you all know, the matrix from KDE was developed on 4 phases. You also know that I'm a believer in kids being in a seat. However, looking at the recommendation, the matrix that is developed with input and work through the governor's office, through our Kentucky Department of Education and our public health, as I've told you time and time again, I can talk to you about education for hours, but I'm not a public health expert. So, you know, we all agree that we want kids in a seat, but we also all agree that kids come first. And not being a public health expert and looking at numbers that are increasing rapidly as our numbers are increasing, it would be my recommendation that we would do all virtual, as suggested and recommended by the matrix that we use as our guide, because we're well in the middle of the red zone. We are not at the tip. We're well in the middle of the red zone. And also because the health department has issued notification to us today that they would also recommend that we have complete virtual learning at that point. it's a struggle for me. It's a true struggle because I want our kids to be in a seat, but then also I know that our public health are our medical experts in the field, and they have worked diligently just like we do when we're considering what is best for our kids. So based on that information and the guidance that we have, I would suggest that we move to the mode of virtual instruction for next week. Now, what that means to our kids is the kids who would come 2 days next week would lose 2 days of on-site. The kids that would come 3 would lose 3 because we are rotating. However, we will look at the numbers again on Thursday. If there is a decline in those numbers, if we're moving in the right direction, the health department will once again consult with us. And should they tell us that they feel like we are moving in the right direction, then we also could make the decision to switch back to continue our rotation. So our kids actually will be home. However, they will not lose instruction. Our teachers will be teaching virtually just as they do today and every day while they have some of those kids that are virtual. It isn't something that I like, but it's something that I feel is important that we follow guidance of those that are the experts in the medical field. And that would not be me. As soon as we could get back into the regular day and the regular routine, I am 110% for that. With the drastic change in the numbers, it does cause you to take a deep breath and to look again at what you have going on there. And when you go from being on the tip of red to being in the middle of the red zone, and they refer to the red zone as a critical zone for schools, then I think that, there's a different basis for our decision this week than there was last week at this time. So my recommendation is that we go to all virtual next week. We look at the data again on Thursday, and we make a decision at that point in time and return as soon as we possibly can with the guidance of public health and our matrix and our development through the governor's office and the Kentucky Department of Ed. I've talked with all the administrators. All the administrators are on as well, and we are all in agreement that this is what we feel is best. We've always followed all of these guidelines that we've been given. Our reentry plan was based on all those guidelines, and we don't want to stop following guidelines now. They've got us to where we are. We've been allowed to have school on a regular basis inside much more than other districts have because we have followed those guidelines. So we don't want to take a chance on jeopardizing our return in the long term and on a regular basis. So the administrators and I have all met and talked this afternoon, and we are in 100% agreement that this recommendation is what is best for us to do in our school district.
Okay, has anyone got any questions? I don't know that we don't necessarily need a vote on this, do we?
No, we don't. But if you have some questions or comments that you would like to share or things that you would like for us to be looking for, as I said, we will look Thursday again. Thursday is kind of the day that gives us time to notify our parents. And we really, want to be back in a seat. So I can guarantee our school community that as soon as we feel that it is safe for us to do and that we can do that and still know that we're doing what is recommended at the highest level for our students, will do so. We're not going to say we're going to be off for a month, and we understand that parents would like to know for a period of time, but I'm assuming that parents would rather know that we're making a decision every Thursday rather than saying we're going to be off for 3 weeks. At this point in time. And like I said, it's not something that we want to do, but with all the guidance that we have and the increase in those numbers, we all agree that for us as a school district, it is the safest choice for our school and our families in our school district.
Okay. No one has any questions, we'll move on. Next, we have to discuss superintendent evaluation tools.
Okay. That would be me. And you should have gotten an email, as Ms. Chafin told you. We've just completed our evaluation process. And at this point, for us as a board, we need to sit down at our next board meeting when we are in person and talk about the 6 standards that the superintendent is evaluated on, and talk about what particular areas that you would like as a board for me to utilize when developing my professional growth plan, and talk through the standards that we have. And from that meeting, then I will develop the growth plan as you see fit in the areas that you would like to see me particularly concentrate on for improvement. And again, those 6 standards are what we will use. So what we will do at our next meeting, it'll be on the agenda again. We'll review the 6 standards. We'll talk about, we'll meet together. Tim, I'm not sure how we do that session, but I know that the entire board and the superintendent will meet to discuss my individual reflection plan that I have. So you can guide me on that a little bit later. But we will sit down next month and talk about that, developing those areas of need for me, and talking about those 6 standards and how you're going to gauge my evaluation process for this year, which we will look at the end of this academic year.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, we need to take action to approve non-resident contracts with Corbin Independent, Whitley County, Williamsburg, and Clay County schools.
Mr. Carey?
Those are the ones that I've received as of this board meeting, so we need to approve those. I probably got maybe a couple more that are still out.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve those contracts?
I'll make a motion.
We have a second? Sandy, you still with us?
She's trying to unmute. Let me unmute.
Okay.
There you go.
I keep losing connection.
Okay.
Okay.
Am I on?
You're
Yeah.
on.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay. So motion made by Daniel, second by Lundy. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all voting aye. Okay, take action on a high school wrestling coaching position and stipend. Is that Mr. Middleton or?
Yes, I'll speak just a little bit briefly about that. You know, as a school system here, every 2 or 3 years, we try to add another sport or a couple other sports added in for our students who show interest in those sports. We've added soccer and archery and cross country in the last few years, and we've had some interest from some students to have a wrestling team. Of course, I've been in contact with Knox County AD and superintendent, and they've wholeheartedly and graciously agreed to allow us to actually use their facility for practice. They've got all the equipment that we would need as far as practice-wise goes or match-wise. Really, the only thing that our participants would be out at any cost would just be they're not uniforms. I think they call them slings that they wear, and of course their headgear, and then, you know, the shoes or any type pads that they would need for that. So I would really like to see us have that opportunity to have a wrestling team here for those students that's interested in that. There's, you know, I've had several say they're interested, so hopefully they'll be committed to that and want to participate in that. And again, that's a sport that's opened up for males and females. They actually have female wrestling matches as well. So that's something that could be opened up for our boys or our girls, either one. As far as the rules and things of that nature goes, I have no idea what it's like, but I think it'd be a good opportunity for some of our students if we could offer that for them.
Okay, Ms. Dixon, have you looked into stipend and what you recommend for stipend?
I would recommend that we do the same thing as we do for track and field. The time periods are about the same. Jennifer, do you have the stipend list for the track and field? Do you recall, is it
I believe that's $12.50 for high school,
okay?
if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check.
Okay. Mr. Middleton, we talked a little bit about that. That is cross country and track and field is very similar in the time frame. Or cross country is what we have at this point, but it's very similar in the time frame for that particular coaching stipend.
Yes, that's correct. And one thing too, the actual season for wrestling, their first day of practice was actually the 15th of this month. So if we can get something worked out, if it's approved for us to do so, maybe we can get the ball rolling quickly with that.
Okay, I think we did discuss also, I think maybe it was Mr. Daniels and I, that, we will follow the Healthy at Sports guidelines as well. I'm not really sure how that type of contact is approved, but we will follow the guidelines as well as the other guidelines that we follow for our return to school. And as things progress, we will see where we are with that, and those decisions will be made on the KHSAA Healthy at Sports guidelines.
Actually, Ms. Dixon, there has been, KHSAA has approved it to go ahead with the start of that. So, but as you said, we'll follow everything that they put out as far as the process and procedures and regulations.
I do want to clarify, though, since we're on the topic, that we have, while in red zone, suspended any after-school activities unless it's district or tournament play. For our kids, we have not been having after-school activities due to the rise in the number of our cases reported. So this week we did not have after-school activities. We only permitted any kind of regional or district play for our kids to take place.
Okay, do we have a motion to create the position for a wrestling coach and at a stipend of $1,250 per year?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second made by Lundy. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Okay, we'll have a wrestling team. Good. District Facilities Plan Committee membership was Ms. Dixon.
Yes, as you know, we've been working to get our inventory process completed and to begin our new plan for our district facilities. With that, we have to formulate a local planning committee before the process is started. And I would like to ask the board to accept the committee members. We will have one principal, which will be Mr. Middleton. We do have guidelines for how many we have to have in each of these different roles. We'll have our district facilities person, which will be Mr. Messer. We will have a local zoning, our local zoning person, one that we will contact, and we will have a representative from the city that will serve in that capacity. We only have to have one teacher, but we've had 3 teachers that have volunteered to participate on the committee, and I would like to ask the board to allow participation from all 3 of those volunteers. We do have 1 parent who has volunteered and 1 business leader. I myself will serve on that committee along with Board Representative Benita Williams. However, I will not be a voting member. So the process will be facilitated by Ross Tarrant, the group that we have hired several months ago to work on the inventory process as well as the facility planning. I will submit the names to them as long as you approve the makeup of the committee, and I'll do that in the morning, and then we will give that information to them, and they will set up the first meeting for that local planning committee.
Anyone have any questions? We need a motion to allow Ms. Dixon to submit the committee as stated with 3 teachers and the other folks.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Daniels,
I'll second.
second by Lundy. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Okay. Administrative updates. Ms. Chapin, ready?
The only thing I have is the school report card was released for public viewing yesterday. Obviously, with the dismissal of the K-Prep last spring, the information was very limited. As an overview, it shows that we're running 69.5% economically disadvantaged students currently. For our academic performance, the only thing we have was the K-screen, and we scored a 57.1, and the state average was a 51, so we're higher than the state average on that. For educational opportunities, we have 70.9% of our students completing some advanced coursework. 12.6 are listed as gifted and talented. And our transition to adult life, we have a 100% 4-year graduation rate for last year. So that was wonderful.
Okay, good. Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chapin. Mr. Carey.
Mr. Carey, you're muted.
Sorry. Our participation rate so far, while we've been on the blue-white rotation and the virtual, and that includes all of those students, has been 92%, actually 92.09%. So proud of the effort that students have got and what they are giving us. And as far as the bus that we discussed a couple board meetings ago, I have got approval for the first step through the grant process from the EPA on that.
Good. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Carey. Mr. Messer.
District facility and grounds, I think the school looks good right now. I mean, as far as grounds, we're doing all right. I'm really interested in this facility plan. We have some issues that we need to address, and I'm sure it will be in the facility plan. As far as I'm very proud of our staff. They are working very hard from everyone in the building. And I'm proud of what this school is doing also. We are feeding people. We are taking care of our people, and everybody should be proud of that. We're still sending kids to Boys and Girls Club. We're not having as many as we had last year, but we don't have as many at school as we did last year. But we want to keep that going. And that partnership's been very valuable to a lot of our students and kids throughout the neighborhood. But as far as school going. It's about a regular year. I love seeing the kids there at school. I love to see well, I don't see their smiles as much, but I love just seeing them. I just love seeing them in the hallways, and our teachers are working very hard. It is very difficult to do teachers and kids in the classroom and virtual also, but our staff has figured out how to do that. And I'm seeing a lot of good stuff in some of these tests, iReady tests and everything else that's been coming back. So that's all I have today.
Okay, good. Thank you, Mr. Messer. Mr. Middleton?
I just have a few things. As Ms. Chafin discussed and touched on a little earlier, our CEP, or Certified Evaluation Plan, I'm required by law to discuss that with teachers within the first 30 days of school. We've already completed that on the process of what our evaluation is going to be like for our staff. This week, we've also completed CERT testing with grades 9 through 12. That was broken up into several days to do that, but we have completed those with our students. And of course, that's an indicator, ACT indicator, or practice for the ACT. On the sports side of things, we mentioned the seasons that's starting now. Archery season is underway. We're going to, just as soon as we get back where we can have students for activities and things, we're going to get that going full force. We've also got middle school and elementary boys. By the time we have our next board meeting, their season will be underway. Their first game's actually on October the 26th. So we've got that underway. We've got a volleyball district game Monday night. Originally, we were scheduled to host the district tournament this year for volleyball, but with us being in the red, I've worked it with Pineville and Bell County. Pineville, of course, Bell County's not in red, so Pineville's actually going to host our district tournament, and that'll be starting on Monday. Our girls actually play Monday. Soccer has just ended. They had their district tournament game on Tuesday. We'll say this about the soccer team. If you've watched them in the past, you can see a tremendous amount of growth and development from when they started until now. And that's just one of those products of adding a new sport. So we're looking forward to some good things next year with our soccer as well. Other than that, as Mr. Messer, Mr. Carey, and Ms. Chafin have all touched on, we're continuing to really work hard, and we're super proud of our staff and our kids and the effort that they're putting forth to do the things that we're doing. Unless anybody has any questions for me, that's got everything I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Middleton. Ms. Sprinkles?
We've been administering our universal screeners this week to the kindergarten through 8th grade, giving the iReady test. We're very close to 100% of those students being complete in both reading and math. We'll use those results to plan our instruction and set goals and get our students back on track and move forward. We have completed our K-screen, the Brigance, and I'm currently entering those results. Hopefully those will be as high as they have been in the past. And our preschool is going very well, offering virtual learning as well as in-person classes. If anyone has any questions for me.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ms. Sprinkles. Ms. Dixon, you have anything else?
Miss Daniels may have, and
sorry.
then I have just a couple statements after she's finished.
Yeah, Ms. Daniel, I'm sorry.
It's hard to see everyone on this
I
screen.
didn't see it.
That's okay. We have been doing lots of meal deliveries. We're doing 288 food boxes a week. This is 25 pounds of food that is going to our community and our students. So it's been a great success. If we had more, we could give more. Every day, somebody's calling me when we're finished and asking, do we have more? So that's been a blessing. We also have been doing the deliveries for our virtual students at least twice a week. We take meals for the week, but we go twice a week. And I think next week we're going to switch to one day a week, but we're taking to all those students. So they're also receiving their meals at home. We're doing a lot of home visits for these kids that are not participating. We have several of those, but we're doing everything we can to get them online. And I mean, just in all, mainly in the homes, in a lot of homes.
Okay.
Any questions, suggestions? I'll take them all.
Thank you, Ms. Daniels. All right, Ms. Dixon.
Yes, I just want to say, Samantha talked about those weekly food boxes. Those are our partners, Save the Children, brought that opportunity. That's in addition to the meals that we do here at school. So as she said, there's big food boxes that we give out every week in gallons of milk, and they do that. We do that here in Knox County as well. There's several different areas that actually do that, and Save the Children has been a great partner for that. I want to commend not only our teachers for doing such a tremendous job, but my administrative team for always staying on top of everything and reworking from one day to the next and trying to provide support that our teachers need. In addition to that, Amy Collins has just absolutely, as I would say, rocked it in the cafeteria. She has a shorter staff than normal. She has a couple positions that are unfilled at this point in time, and the cooks have really been working hard to get these meals to all of our families. She's done a tremendous job with the menus and getting things out, and she and Samantha get in a car and go deliver to those families that we can't get our buses to, and things like that. They've done just a tremendous job. Our bus drivers have worked so hard for us on running those routes every day. The plan for next week, if we had have been here every day, and you probably saw that advertised on our website and our Facebook, was to eliminate a few of those deliveries by sending several meals a day instead of having our drivers and Samantha and Amy get out every single day. We were going to drop that back to one day where we delivered 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches so that the families would have that for the week, to see how that went a little bit. We haven't had a large number of families outside of our district picking up food. But we do also have that. We will be sure that we will deliver meals all week next week. Even though we'll be in virtual instruction, the meal delivery will be the same as it would have been if kids were in a seat. So wanted to make sure to let you know that. And again, I'm very appreciative of all of the extra work that everybody's having to do. Our custodians are having to do a lot of extra cleaning, and they're also short some manpower. Mr. Messer will tell you they're down just a little bit. But one of the things that I have to tell you that's really impressive to me is that through all of this, our teachers have been delivering instruction in 2 or 3 different modes during the same day. Without complaint. They're exhausted, but they've not complained. We've also been assessing our kids, as they have told you, and we've had some pretty good results there. We do have some gaps and some lapses because we've been out of school for so long, and that is why I want to ensure that everyone in our community, that the very minute that we can get back to regular instruction in a seat, we most certainly will make the decision to do that. The data that we have this week to consider for what we need to do for next week is very scary in the fact that the numbers have grown so quickly and so rapidly. So again, we hate to have to do that, but our mode of instruction for next week will be virtual, with a decision made on Thursday of what action we will need to take for the upcoming week. So I appreciate all of you board members. I know we're all on the phone with lots of concerned people every day, trying to do the best we all can for our kids and for our school community. And we are always here and willing to work with them in any way that we can. So I appreciate board members as well, because I know it's very hard struggle for all of us to have to make decisions such as we do about instruction and the mode of instruction.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dixon. A motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Daniels,
I'll second.
second by Lundy. We're adjourned. Thank you all.